Please rise in whatever way you're able. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo. Hodu le'lo hea Elohim, ki le'olam chasdo. Hodu l'Adonai Adonim, ki le'olam chasdo.
Ki le'olam chasdo. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to everyone who is here with us in person, as well as anyone who is watching from afar. I'd like us to all quickly turn to page 101. We don't often sing Ma Tovu together, but right when we enter a Jewish space, usually a house of prayer, we sing Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov. How great are the dwelling places of Jacob, not only my dwelling places, but those of our ancestor. But I'm going to take us to the last two lines, right before the break on that page. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon. Those are some of my favorite words in prayer. We sing them on high holidays during the Torah service. We sing them on Shabbat at Mincha during the Torah service. We also sing them on festivals during the Torah service. And we also are supposed to sing them every single day. Va'ani tefilati, and I and my prayers, lecha Adonai et ratzon, may they be to you eternal, divine. May they come to you at a good time, at a time that you find worthy. Elohim berov chastecha, God, in all of your love and kindness and loyalty, aneni be'emet ishecha, answer me with the truth of your salvation, or with that great true salvation. Now, what we typically read as va'ani tefilati is, and I and my prayer. But va'ani tefilati could also be read as, I am my prayer. Ani tefilati. There is no great Hebrew word for am, so you could read ani tefilati as I am my prayer. We're going to be doing a lot of prayer here, and you may be coming in with things that you are praying to God for. But the beauty is that you and the life that you live are your prayer. And the first part is just coming through this door. So I thank you, or coming online. So I thank you in this first part of your prayer, living your prayer, not living on your prayer, that's Bon Jovi, living your prayer by coming here and sharing it with others, and sharing it with our community and with God. So I encourage us, as we continue through the service, we're about to wrap up Sukkei de Zimra and go into Shacharit. I encourage us to think about the prayers that we want to express, and then think about the ways that we can live those prayers and be those prayers. So welcome, Shabbat Shalom. We will continue with Nishmat Kol Chai on page 145.
נשמע כל חי, תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו. שוב. האל בתעצמות עוזך, הגדול בכבוד שמך, הגיבור לנצח ונורא ונורתך, המלך היושב על כיסא רם ונישא.
Pastor Koach will continue in the middle of page 147.
Shabbat v'yitbar v'yitram v'yitenaseh v'yidanar v'yitale v'yitalosh me'dekudesh abrichu ve'la min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'yoma v'imeru. Amen.
Baruch Hu is on page 149.
Barechu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach be'olam va'ed. Yair Dalal
You can have a seat. We're on page 151.
נדון על כל המעשים, ברוך הוא בורא בפי כל נשמה, לא בטובו מלא לעולם, בתותונה סובבים אותו. נדון על כל המעשים, ברוך הוא בורא בפי כל נשמה, לא בטובו מלא לעולם, בתותונה סובבים אותו. המתקיים חיות הקודש ונדחם על המרכבה שחוט ומשול לפני חיסון כסף ורחמים לפני כבודו המעשים לא נשמע מה כמו החוצורה נתן מרד יהודים מושלים כקרב תבל המעשים לא נשמע מה לעולם אין לו מבדו אין לו מבדו מלאים שידעו משחיקים נוגן נאו זיוון בכל העולם זה מקבץ איתם וששים בבואם נוסעים באימה בסוד קולם המעשים לא שמע נותנים לשמור כל אבלים נא לזכר מלכותו קרא לשמש ויזרח אור רב והתקין שורת הבנה המעשים כל שמש נותנים לו כל זיוון זה במענו תפארת וגדולה של רבים ויופלים בחיות הקודש המעשים כל נשמה סובבים אותו אין לו מבדו אשר שבת מכל המעשים ביום השביעי עליו ישב על כיסא כבודו תתברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך ויאמר אור שעשית יפרוך הסלע תתברך צורנו מלכנו בגואלנו בורא קדושים משתבח שמך ליד מלכנו ומקדישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך הגדול, הגדול בנד הקדוש.
We're in the middle of page 153.
כולם כחדונים ואומרים ביראה קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות ולא בכל הארץ כבוד ובאופנים בחיל הקודש ברעש גדול מתנסים עם הצלפים ומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני כמו עולה ברוך נמותיתנו למלך אל חי וקיים. נור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו מהרה לאורו נור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו מהרה לאורו ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות דבר הבאתנו.
We're on page 154, going into the Shema on 155.
וקרבתנו לשמך גדול, סלע באמת להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר במו ישראל באהבה. שמע אם שמוע תשמעו מצוותיי אשר אני מצווה אתכם היום. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם לעשות נין אלוהים זולתך עזרת אבותינו אתה הוא מעולם.
We'll come together in the middle of page 158, and then we'll head into the Amidah on page 159. Don't forget the additions for Rosh Chodesh. Please rise in whatever way you're able.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Eloi Avotenu Eloi Abraham Eloi Sarah Eloi Yitzchak Eloi Rivka Eloi Yaakov Eloi Leah Eloi Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו ויבא מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם אתה גיבור לעולם ולעולם חיים מתים אתה רב ויושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים זומק נופלים ברופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו על דשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה מלך מנהיג ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי המתים מקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וכרזה אל זה ויאמר
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ כבודו
קדוש קדוש אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ כבודו אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנשאים לאומת סרפים לאומתם ברוך יומנו
ברוך כבוד אדוני
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו ממקומך מלכנו ויעבדים לא חלנו קמך כי אם אנחנו לך מתי תמלך בציון בקרוב בימינו לעולם בעת תשכון נתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים ועינינו תראינה מלכותך קדם לעמוד בשירי עוזך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך
ימלוך אדוני לעולם בחי ציון לדור ודור הללויה
לדור ודור נגיד קודמך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו פנמוש לעולם נועד כי הוא מלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש wait for the Lord. He obliged and heard my call, set my feet upon a rock, and made my footsteps firm. I will sing a new song. I will sing a new song. How long to sing this song? How long to sing this song? How long? Sing this song. How long to sing this song? How long to sing this song? How
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. It is Rosh Chodesh this morning, so we're going to turn in a moment to Hallel, but I want to give you a moment to catch your breath. Good morning. Welcome. It's good to see all of you. It was incredibly beautiful to be together last night for Kabbalat Shabbat. For those who were with us and for those who weren't, next month is your chance to come join us on Friday night. I want to tell you really briefly as an intro for our Hallel today about an experience that I just had yesterday in Montgomery, Alabama. I went for a very, very short trip to be a part of a gathering of architects, artists, and designers who are thinking about how sacred space and beautiful space can help us reaffirm our humanity in profoundly dehumanizing times. And it was an incredible experience. And after a day of hearing from architects and artists who are designing spaces like hospitals and prisons and schools and homes and sanctuaries in order to really enhance our sense of our own humanness, we went on Friday morning to Montgomery, Alabama, to the lynching memorial that Brian Stevenson and the EJI have built with the architect who designed the memorial. Can I just see for folks who are here, who were with us when our community made this trip? Okay, so we have a few people, and it was absolutely extraordinary. It is one of those spaces that when you spend the day in this site, you are changed forever. And I hope in the months ahead we'll plan another trip, or hopefully sometime this year. So I've been there several times before, but never with the architect who designed the space, who walked us through the space, helping us understand the decisions that that the team made at each step in order to tell the story of America in physical form, and to give people the opportunity to change our understanding of our own American story through art. And I want to just tell you one piece of it today as we prepare to go into Hallel, which we sing on our most joyous days, holidays, the beginning of a new month. When you enter the space, for those who were there, you may recall, you enter into this kind of dark, sloping downward security check. And the architect called it the cave, Michael Murphy. He called it the cave because it's dark and it feels closed in and tight. And then, of course, once you come through to the other side, it's this incredible, vast expanse where you can see the whole lynching memorial up on an elevated piece of land on a hill. But in order to see, once you come out of the cave, to see the expanse, the air, the grass, the sculptures, and the memorial itself, you have to pivot your entire body. You have to turn. If you keep going straight, the direction you were going into, you will hit a wall. There's nowhere to go. But if you simply allow yourself to turn, you can see a completely different version of reality. And it's such a profound metaphor, and there are pieces of Torah like this all throughout the property, which I'm sure you'll hear bits and pieces of in the days ahead. But I want to invite us, as we rise in a moment for Hallel, to think about what it means to be invited to pivot from wherever we were as we entered Shabbat, perhaps a place of hopelessness, perhaps a place of great fear, of deep anguish, a place of impossibility, to recognize for a moment that sometimes when you keep going straight ahead, you will hit a wall. There's nothing more for us in this direction. But if we allow ourselves to pivot, we can find a whole expanse of possibility. And that wide expanse is not all joy. It's extremely painful, right? To walk through that memorial, you are confronted with some of the darkest chapters of American history. And you're forced to reckon with it, but through that reckoning comes the new expansive possibility. So what would it take for us to shift our bodies and our perspective so that we can find the hope, find the love, find the blessings, even in the bleakest of moments and the bleakest of landscapes? So I'm going to invite us to please rise in whatever way you're able this morning, and to take one impossible conundrum in your life or in the world, and just move, just pivot, turn in a different direction, take a step forward, move into the aisle, come up to the table, and allow the physical pivot to remind you of the possibility of a spiritual pivot, which our liturgy is inviting us into by placing this blissful, joyful series of psalms right in the midst of our Shabbos morning today. Just pivot and see what else might unfold if we only allow ourselves to see. Page
316.
360.
Thank you for letting me speak. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu bemitzvotav v'tzivanu nikro et Hallel. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Avdei Adonai, Hallelujah, et Shem Adonai, Yishem Adonai me'evora, me'ata be'Adonai, mimizrach shemesh ha'mevo, me'ulach Shem Adonai, Raman kol negoyim Adonai, al hashamayim kevodo, mikadonai Eloheinu amayim Shabbos, המשפיעים לראות בשמיים ובארץ. Adonai, Yoshimi, Inedivi, Inedive Yamo, Moshide Yakedabai, Temabanim Semecha, Hallelujah, 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 Yadadai, זכרון יברך, יברך את בית ישראל, יברך את בית ארון, יברך יראי אדוני, הקטנים עם הגדולים, יוסף אדוני עליכם, עליכם ועליכם, ברוכים אתם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ, השמיים שמיים אדוני, והארץ נתן לבני אדם, הלכים יהללויה, ולא כל יורדי דומה, ואנחנו נברך יה, ואתה ועד העולם, ואתה ועד העולם, הללויה.
Middle of 318.
משיב לאדוני, כל תגמולו היא עלי. על אדוני, על אדוני, כי אני עבדך. על אדוני, על אדוני, כי אני עבדך. אני עבדך בין אמתיך, אני עבדך בין אמתיך, אני עבדך בין אמתיך, הבטחת למוסר. זבח תודה ושם אדוני יקרא, נדרי לאדוני השלם, נגדנה לכל עמו, בחצרות בית אדוני, בתוכך ירושלים, הללויה.
Page 319.
הללויה את אדוני. המצר קראתיה, אני בחניה. המצר קראתיה, Ya Adonai li lo ira, ma yaseh li Adam.
Top of page 320.
כל מעשיך וחסידיך צדקים ותרתונך.
Top of page 321.
לך טוב להודות ולשמך לזמר כי מעולם ועד עולם אתה אל ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מהולל מתיש ברכות.
We'll turn back now to Mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom, sending some extra love this morning to Danielle and Brian and Judah and the whole family on the loss of Danielle's mom, Shelley, this week. They're just coming out of Shiva. Glad to have you with us this morning and just sending more love and strength to you all as you navigate these early days. And our continued love to Sivia and Steve and their family on the loss of Sivia's dad, Bert, just a couple weeks ago. And also to Jody Levinson on the loss of his father. May their memories all be a blessing. Invite you all to rise on page 121, Kaddish Yatom.
ויתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דיברה כרעותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ויחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ואמירן בעולמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Zichronam Livracha. May the memories of all of our beloveds continue to reverberate in this world as a blessing for generations to come. Good morning, everybody. Chodesh Tov, Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn to the Torah service in just a moment, but I want to just invite us before we do, at the suggestion of our dear board member Hannah Roth, we're going to take a moment and just introduce yourselves. Just say hello to the people who are sitting beside you, in front of you, behind you, especially if you don't know each other, but I would love for each person here to know the name of somebody who's near them, and we'll come back together in a moment. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, I'm pulling us back together. Welcome back. I know there are a few people who, as Laura just said, you know everybody in your section. I love that. You have a makom kavua here. You have your spot. And I want to make sure that especially those people who know all of their people, and you actually come week to week to see your people, that you go out of your way to meet somebody you do not know today. Maybe at lunch, go say hello. Okay, we're going to turn now to our Torah service. Hillel. Welcome back, everybody. We're turning to page 168 for our Torah service.
אין כמוך באלוהים אדון ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עמים וממשלתך בכל דור אדוני מלך אדוני מלך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום אברהם בירושלים, כי בכל לב בטחנו, מלכי עולם ונישא, אדון עולמים, יאיר אלוהי, יאיר אלוהי, יאיר אלוהי, יאיר אלוהי,
ויהי בצהרון, ויאמר משה, קום אדוני יחוצו אליך, ינוסו שונאיך מלפניך, תהי ציון תצא תורה בדבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shema. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shema.
as we begin our Torah reading this morning. Ve'yazor v'yagain v'shol chosim bo v'namar amen ha'akol v'elgodenu le'eloheinu nuchavod la'Torah na'la'amod Yehudit bat Pesach v'Ephraim ben Chaim v'Tzipora v'Yonit bat Chaim v'Yona l'Aliyah Rishona Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato v'atem adbekim b'Adonai lechem chaim kolchem hayom. First Aliyah, we're calling up Judy, Scott, Jennifer, and anyone else observing a yard site this morning. Our first Aliyah is page 649, chapter 12, verse 1. Baruch Adonai Amarach Le'olam Va'ed. Amen.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael lemor isha ki tazria ve'alda zachar b'tam ashivat yamim kimei nidat botat titma v'yom hashmini mo b'sar orlato u'shloshim yom u'shloshet yamim teshe b'tmei tahara b'chol kodesh lo tiga ve'el hamikdash lo tavo ad melot yemei tahora.
Amen. Nalamod, Bela bat Freda v'Peretz Lalia Sheni. Calling up Beth and anyone else who has a birthday this week. She doesn't want to be alone, people, okay? Don't make her do it by herself. Come on. Oh, Hannah's coming with you. Okay. Anyone else who has a birthday this week? Oh, see? It's working. Okay. For those people who came up for the first Aliyah, if you'll come up to this microphone and share your name and the name of the person you're holding this morning.
I have two. Aaron Aslant, this is his first year at site, my brother, and Edward Aslant, 15 years, my father.
Zichronam livracha.
I'm remembering my dad, Jose Zimmerman. It's his second yard site.
Zichronam livracha.
Scott Fields, remembering my mother, Phyllis Liner Fields, on her 32nd yard site, which is today.
Zichronam livracha. Thank you all for sharing those names with us this morning. Right now we're in the middle of the practice of counting the Omer, the days that we count between Passover leading up to Shavuot. And what we learn in this practice is that we only know the day that we are in, that we have no ability to predict what is to come, and that we just have to be mindful of where we are. And I think in the process of grief, whether it's recent or much older grief, some days we just can't predict how they're going to be. We only get to be in the day that we're in, and some of those days you're knocked over by your grief in a way you couldn't expect, and some days feel almost normal, and it's not linear and it's not predictable. And I just wish you, with the wisdom of the Omer, the presence to just be where you are in this moment, to honor how you're carrying your loved ones today, and an hour from now or another day may be completely different, but just to be in your grief as it shows up for you today, and know that we are always here to hold that with you. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be a blessing. Our second Aliyah this morning is on page 651, chapter 12, verse 5. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'har banu mikol ha'amim v'natan
ואם נקבה תלד ותמה שבועיים כנידתה ושישים יום וששת ימים תשב על דמי טהרה ובמלאת ימי טהרה לבין ולבד תביא כבש בין שנתו לעלה ובין יונה אותו לחטאת על פתח אוהל המועד על הכהן והקריבו לפני אדוני וכיפר עליה בטהרה ממקור דמיה זאת תורת היולדת לזכר ולנקבה ואם לא תמצא ידה תעשה ולחה שתי תורים או שני בני יונה אחד ללה ואחד לחטאת וכיפר עליה הכהן בטהרה
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Nalamod. For our third aliyah, we are calling up any members of our Capital Campaign Committee co-chairs, Community Phase co-chairs who are here. Sorry, Julia. And Lauren, and anyone else who is here this morning. Betsy, great. And for our second aliyah, we honored these people who have birthdays this week. And we are just coming out of Passover, and I feel like it's such a beautiful thing to think about stepping into newness for yourselves when you have a spring birthday like this, to think about what are the ways that Passover has brought us into thinking about some kind of rebirth, some kind of renewal, some kind of stepping into something new that we didn't have before. And I just bless you all with a year in which you continue to uncover newness in yourselves and in your lives, and really hope that it's a year of a lot of good joy, health, and happiness for all of you. Really grateful to be in community with you all. Happy birthday. Our third aliyah this morning is on page 651, chapter 13, verse 1. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
V'daber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor Adam ki yeh v'or b'saro se'eh dosa pachat o v'heret v'haya v'or b'saro l'negat zarat v'huva el Aharon hakohen o el achad mibanav hakohanim v'ra'ah hakohen et hanega v'or habasar v'seyar v'nega hafach lavan umarei hanega amok me'or b'saro negat zarat hu v'ra'ahu hakohen v'timei oto V'im baheret levanahi be'or b'saro ve'amok en mareha min ha'or u'sera lo hafach lavan v'hiskir hakohen et hanega shivat yamim v'ra'ahu hakohen v'yom hashvi'i v'hinei hanega amad be'enav lo fasah hanega ba'or v'hiskiro hakohen shivat yamim shenit.
Amen. Nalamod. For our fourth aliyah, calling up our Green Action team this morning. And before that, we called up some representatives of our Capital Campaign sprawling crew. I don't really know the right terminology for it exactly, but Julia and Betsy are the co-chairs of our community phase of our Capital Campaign, which you have been hearing about a lot here the last month or so. And Lauren is one of the co-chairs of our Capital Campaign, along with Sophie Pritzker and Sarah Wick, who are here in spirit, as always. You'll also be hearing some more Torah from Lauren this morning, so stick around for that. Really an honor for us to have him share some Torah with us this morning. But the reason that they're up here, among other things, is that we are now having once a month a Shabbat where at lunch you can come talk to these folks and Morgan from our team, or Nikki, but this month it's Morgan, once a month to hear more about the Capital Campaign community phase, how you can get involved, how you can contribute, and whatever questions you have, bring them to these people and to Morgan, who know much more than I do, and we'll be very happy to answer those questions for you. So grateful for the ways that you continue to show up for our community and imagine what this future might look like. Come find these people at lunch, and thank you all again. Our fourth Aliyah this morning is on page 653, chapter 13, verse 6. Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Ba'ed.
Kohenoto bayom hashvi shenit v'nekeha hanega v'lofasa hanega ba'or v'tiharo hakohen mispachati v'chaybes bagada v'taher v'impaso tifseh hamispachat ba'or achareh heraoto el hakohen l'torato v'nira shenit el hakohen v'raha hakohen v'neh Pastah mispachat ba'or, v'timo hakohen sarat hi. Negat sarat kitiyah ba'adam v'huvah l'kohen, v'raha hakohen, v'neset levana ba'or, v'hi hafcha se'ar lavan, u'michyat basar chai b'seh, sarat noshanet, Beor b'saro v'timo hakohen lo yaskiranu ki tamehu v'im parat tifrach hatzarat behor v'chista hatzarat et kolor hanega merosho v'ad raglav l'chomarei ne hakohen v'raha hakohen v'hine chista hatzarat et kol b'saro v'tihar et anaga kulo hafach lavan tahor hu v'yam herachot bo basar chayit maha v'raha hakohen et basar chay v'timo habasar hachay tamehu sarat hu o chi yashu habasar chay v'nepach l'lavan uvay l'kohen v'rahu hakohen v'neh nepach hanega l'lavan v'tihar kohen et hanega tahor hu.
For our fifth Aliyah, if you have already registered for the Shabbaton and know that you will be joining us, come up for the fifth Aliyah. I know some of you. Thank you, Beth. Exactly. We love the enthusiasm. Follow Beth's enthusiasm. Come join her for the fifth Aliyah. And for the fourth Aliyah, we called up these representatives of our Green Action team. Special shout out to our staff member, Kellen, who in his new role is overseeing Green Action. So grateful to him stepping into that role. And they're up here for two reasons. One is that this week is Earth Day, and one of the ways that we are honoring that here at IKAR is next Shabbat, April 25th, is going to be another one of our homegrown produce Shabbats. Will you guys shift over a little bit so I can see you? So homegrown produce share Shabbat. Here's what that looks like if you aren't familiar with it yet. Bring whatever fruit, vegetables, herbs, edible, drinkable things that came from your garden and bring them to share with other IKARites. This is not a swap. You don't have to bring something in order to receive something. It really is an opportunity for people who have the ability to have different things from their gardens to bring to share, and then anyone is welcome to take those things. So please think this week about what you may be able to contribute, and then come see the bounty on Shabbat and take things that feel like something that is speaking to you. And then keep in mind one more thing that's very exciting that will be in just a couple weeks on Shabbat of May 9th. It is finally going to be possible to take a walk together after services on May 9th to the new subway line on Fairfax and Wilshire. It is subway line D, so it will be an opportunity to walk together to the new metro line and get a walking tour of it together. So please keep these two things in mind. There's a lot of really exciting stuff happening. We have waited many years for this station to be open, and it finally will be. So thank you for your tireless work always in all of these avenues, and hope to see many of you the next few weeks. Thank you so much. Our fifth aliyah this morning is on page 654, chapter 13, verse 18.
ובשר כי יבוא ויורו שכין ונרפא והיה במקום השחיצת לבנה ובהרת לבנה אדמדמת ונראה אל הכהן וראה הכהן והנה מראה השפע מן האור ושערה הפך לבן ותימו הכהן נגד צרת היא בשכין פרחה ואם ירנה הכהן והנה בשיער לבן ושפלה איננה מן האור וכיהה והזכירו הכהן 7 ימים ואם פסות תפסה באור וטימא הכהן אותו נגע ואם תחתיך תעמוד הבהרת לו פסות הצרבת השכין היא וטיהרו הכהן. As Steve is making his way up here, thank you, people who came up for the fifth aliyah who are already coming to the Shabbaton. We love to see it. So if you have not yet heard, our annual Shabbaton is coming up in just a couple weeks, May 1st to 3rd at Camp Ramah in Ojai. And it is always really an incredible weekend to be together for a whole Shabbat together and to sing, to be in nature, to eat together, and just be. As always, there will be a million incredible different activities. There's challah making, there are hikes, there's bird watching, there's a campfire, s'mores, music, all sorts of things. I know that I've missed a bunch of activities. That's just some of them. Come join these people and so many more. Would love to have you join us. So please don't, if you have questions, come ask any of them why they're going to the Shabbaton, and they'll give you their elevator pitch. And feel free to ask us as well. And for those of you who won't be able to join us, don't worry, we will still have services here as well. So either place, you will find some of us. But look forward to being with so many of you in just a couple weeks. Thank you all for coming up for this aliyah, and look forward to being with all of you. We are going to pause before our sixth aliyah for a mishaberach, a prayer for healing. Invite you to rise where you are or raise a hand if you or someone in your life is in need of healing, and our clergy and other healers will come around to hear those names. mishaberach avotenu Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yivarech v'yarpeh et hacholim.
Fatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Atroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Hadroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Fatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Rafatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Fatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Rafatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi Rafatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Rafatsiri Elnema Kiataro Thelma Adroshi Shurchalshi Vatinkoach Lanafshi
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem Lachzikam Rapotam V'yishlach Lehem Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Sha'ar HaCholim V'chazek Et Yedei HaOskim B'torcheihem Shabbati Milzok Ufruah Krova Lavo Ashtabach Lazman Kariv V'Amar Amen. Pray that they all find full healing of body and of spirit. Nalamod. Say it one more time. Shimon Bina Mibed Avram Asara Lalia Shishi Our sixth aliyah this morning is on page 655, chapter 13, verse 24.
Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah Amen. O basar ki yebero michvat eish v'hayta michyat hamichva baheret levana adam demet o levana v'ra'ota hakohen v'hinei nehafach se'ar lavan babaheret umarei amok min ha'or tzarat He b'michva, sarat he b'michva paracha, v'timei oto hakohen negat sarat he, v'mirana hakohen, v'hinei b'aheret, Vehinei ein babaheret sa'ar lavan ushvala einena min ha'or vehichecha vehiskiru hakohen shivat yamim v'rahu hakohen bayom ha'shvi'i im paso tifsa ba'or v'timei hakohen oto Negatarati vim tachteha tamod babaheret lo fasta baor vehu chicheha seyat hamichva hi v'tiharo hakohen Kitzarevet hamichva It's just
Nalamod. Calling up Dahlia for our seventh aliyah this morning. As she makes her way up for our sixth aliyah, we honored Steve, who is already very well loved and known in this community, but as of just the last week or so, has also joined our staff here at IKAR. So some of you were here last Shabbat when we honored Eitan, our other new staff person, and Steve is also joining us as our community engagement coordinator. We'll be working directly with Molly from our team and our whole membership and development crew. So grateful to have you on board, and don't ask Steve too many questions yet, but soon, they will have a lot of answers for you. Really glad to have you. Okay, perfect. We love it. Our seventh aliyah this morning is on page 655, chapter 13, verse 29. Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed.
Ish o isha ki hayabo naga barosh o bazakan v'ra'a hakohen et hanega v'hinei marehu amok min ha'or uvo se'ar tahov dak v'timei Oto hakohen netek hu sarat harosh o hazakan hu v'chiyerei hakohen et nega hanetek v'hinei marehu amok v'hinei arehu amok min haor Usa'ar shachor ein bo v'hiskir hakohen et nega hanetek shivat yamim v'ra'ah hakohen et hanega bayom hashvi v'hinei lo fasa hanetek v'lo haya bo se'ar tzahov Umareha hanetek en amok min haor v'hi galach v'et hanetek lo yigaleach v'hi skir hakohen et hanetek shivat yamim sheni v'ra'ah hakohen et hanetek V'hara'ah hakohen et hanetek bayom hashvi'i v'hinei lo pasa hanetek ba'or umarehu einenu amok min ha'or v'tihar oto hakohen v'chibes begadav v'taher ve'im Paso yivse hanetek ba'or acharei taharato v'ra'ahu hakohen v'hinei paso hanetek ba'or lo yivaker hakohen lo yivaker hakohen v'sa'ar tahov tamehu Ve'im beinav amad hanetek v'sa'ar shachor samach bo nirpa hanetek tahor hu v'taharo hakohen ve'ish o isha kiyeh be'or b'saram Kivye or besaram baheret beharot levana levanot berah hakohen vehinei ve'or besaram beharot kehot levanot behokhu para baor tahor
Before we lift the Torah and get our second Torah up here, for the seventh Aliyah, we honored Dahlia and David, but mostly Dahlia, who, as you've probably heard her name a lot these last few weeks. Dahlia Dasake will be joining Rabbi Brous in conversation over lunch today about her book, Enduring Hostility, The Making of America's Iran Policy. Maybe that feels a little bit relevant to you in the last couple months. Obviously, it's been relevant for a long time, but I think for many people, it feels even closer to home now than ever. And Dahlia is really one of the experts in our country on this issue, and this is a moment like no other for us to really turn to people who have been in this work for so long and who really bring so much wisdom and insight to what it looks like in this moment and maybe how we might find a way forward. That's my hope for all of us. But so really grateful to have you in this community and your wisdom, especially in this moment. So please join us. We'll go upstairs for lunch and then in the Beit Midrash to be in conversation with Rabbi Brous over lunch to hear more about this and how we got to this moment and what this moment means for all of us. So thank you so much. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד יברך ירתה וימליך מלכותי בחייכנו, ביומכנו חייתך בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב במהרו.
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם ועלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי תקודשה.
בריחו.
לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה מירן בעלמא במהרו.
Amen.
Kalamod Amagbiya, the Sefer Rishon. Invite you to rise in whatever ways you're able as the first Torah is lifted this morning.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל אבי אדוני ביד משה. איי 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 ברוך המקום ברוך המקום איי 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 ברוך המקום ברוך המקום שנתן תורה יבוא ישראל ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך הוא ברוך המקום ברוך הוא ברוך המקום ברוך הוא ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך המקום ברוך הוא.
You can have a seat. Malamod Yehudit Chana Bat Chaim Shalom HaKohen Vebela Lalia Maftir. Our Maftir Aliyah this morning may feel familiar, but not quite. We are back in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar. We are on page 930, chapter 28, verse 9. We've spent a lot of Maftirs lately in this Torah. Thank you to Savannah for reading almost all of them. Okay, page 930, here we go.
Baruch Adonai Havarah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torah. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Ubeyom HaShabbat Shnei Kvatzim B'nei Shana Timimim U'Shnei Yisronim Solev Mincha B'Lulav HaShemen B'Nizko Olat Shabbat B'Shabbato Al Olat HaTamid B'Nizka U'Brashei Chodshechem Takrivu Olal Adonai Parim B'nei Bakar Shnayim V'Ayil Echad Kvasim B'nei Shana Shivat Timimim Ushlosha Esronim Solev Mincha B'Lulav HaShemen Lapar Ha'echad U'Shnei Yisronim Solev Mincha B'Lulav HaShemen La'ayil Ha'echad Isaron, Saron, Solev Mincha B'Lulav HaShemen La'keves Ha'echad Ola Re'ach Nichoach Yishei L'Adonai V'Nizkehem Chatzi Ayin Yeh La'pahar U'Shlishit Hayin La'ayil Revi'it Hayin La'keves Yain Zot Olat Chodesh B'Chodsho L'Chodshei HaShana U'Seir Isim Echad L'Chatat L'Adonai Alolat HaTamid Ye'aseh B'Nizko.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nata b'tichenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Nalamod Hamagbiya L'Sefer Sheni. Invite you to rise in whatever way you're able as we lift the second Torah this morning.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל אבי אדוני
have a seat. Judy will read our Haftarah for us this morning, beginning on page 1220.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nbiim tovim v'ratzav b'divreihem hanemarim b'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'b'Moshe avdo u'b'Yisrael amo u'b'nbiei hamet v'tzedek. Adonai hashamayim kisi v'ha'aretz adam raglai eze bayit asher tibni li eze makom menuchati v'kol ele yadi asata v'yu kol ele nu Adonai v'zeh abid al ani u'chiruach v'hared al devari Shochet hashor markeish Zobeach haseh oref kelef Ma'aleh michadam chazir Maskir lebona mivarek aben Gam heima bacharu b'dorfechem Uvshikutechem Nafsham chafetza gamani Efhar b'talulechem Umgurotam avi lahem Yan karati b'einoneh Dibarti below shameyu V'ya'asu hara b'einai Uvasher lo chafatzi bacharu Shim'ud radonai Chacharedim el divaraho amru Achikam sunechem Min adichem leman shemi yikbad Adonai v'nir'eh v'simchatchem v'him yevoshu kol sha'om me'ir kol mechecha kol Adonai mishalem gamul loiba b'terem tachil yalada B'terem yavo chedel lavikim lita zachar Mishama kazot mira'a ke'elech hayuchal eretz b'yom echad Im yivalei goy pam echad kichala Gam yalda tzion et banecha Ha'ani ashbir v'lo olid yomar Adonai Imani hamuli batzarti amar elchayich Simchu et Yerushalayim begilu v'kol ohaveha Sisu itan masos kol hamitablim aleha Leman tinku usbatem mishod tenachumeha Leman tamotu v'hitan agtem mizis kvoda Kiko amananai, hineni nota eleha, kanahar shalom, uknacha shotev kavod goyim v'naktem, outside tinaseu v'albrikayim shasha'u, ke'ish asher imo tinachamenu, Kain anochi anachemchem, u'b'Yerushalayim tinuchamu, u'reitem b'sahas lipchem, v'atzmotechem kadeshet tifrachna, v'nod ayad Adonai ad obadav, v'zam et oivav, ki hinei Adonai b'ei shavo, v'chasufa markvotav, Lahashiv behema apo, v'ga'arato b'lahave eish, ki b'eish Adonai nishbad, u'baharbo et kol basar, v'rabu halale Adonai, hamikachim v'hamitaharim, el hagonot achar b'taveh, Ochlei b'sahar chachazir b'hasheketz v'ha'achbar Yachtav yasufu numananai v'anochi Masehem umachshvotechem ba'ah לקבץ את כל הגויים בהלשונו, ובראו את כבודי, ושמתי בהם ושילחתי מהם פליטים אל הגויים, תרשיש פול ולוד, מושקי קשת טובה ויוון, העמים הרחוקים אשר לא שמעו את שמי, לא ראו את כבודי, והגידו את כבודי בגויים, והביאו את כל אחיכם מכל הגויים מחר לאדוני בסוסים וברכב ובצבים ובפרדים ובכרכרות אחר קדשי ירושלים אמר אדוני, כאשר יביאו בני ישראל את המקרא בכלי טהור בית אדוני, וגם מהם אקח לכהנים לוויים אמר אדוני, כי כאשר השמיים החדשים והארץ החדשה אשר אני עושה עומדים לפנינו אדוני, כן יעמוד זרעכם ושמכם. והיה מדי חודש בחודשו ומדי שבת בשבתו יבוא כל בשר להשתחוות לפני אמר אדוני, ויצאו וראו בפגרי אנשים הפושעים בי, כי תולתם לא תמות ואישם לא תגבה, והיו דיראון לכל בשר. והיה מדי חודש בחודשו ומדי שבת בשבתו יבוא כל בשר להשתחוות לפני אמר אדוני. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, צור כל עמים, צדיק בכל הדורות, היה נאמן האומר ביוסף, המדבר ומקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבריך מדבריך אשר לא ישיב ריקם. כי אל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני היה נאמן בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון כי היא בית חיינו, ולא עלובת נפש תושיע במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח ציון ובניך. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא את עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משכך. במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כי זה לא ישב זר ולא יכבדו עוד אחרים את כבודו. כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכפה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים והיום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לתושב למך לכבוד ותפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Shikoach. We'll invite everyone to please rise for a moment of prayer. In the midst of war, in a moment of ceasefire, holding the possibility of a just and lasting peace. Yehi ratzon milchanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shedevatel milchama ushpichut amim min ha'olam. May we see the day when war and bloodshed cease, when a great peace will embrace the whole world, and holding on to the dreams and aspirations of our family in Israel and of all of the people of the region and around the world. We say, V'natata shalom ba'aretz v'simchat olam liyoshveha v'nomar amen. May the land be blessed with peace. May all of its inhabitants be blessed with lasting joy. And let us all say amen.
Amen.
We're going to return the Sifrei Torah to the Ark. We'll turn to page 181 for Ashrei.
אשרי יושבי ביתך, גלו חסל, אשרי עם שככה לו, אשרי עם של אלוהים, עתידה לדוד ולמלך המלך. ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה, מי הללויה, בשם אדוני, כי נשכח שמו, לבדו, איי איי איי, לא על ארץ ושמיים, וירד קרן לעבר, נגלה לכל חסידת בני ישראל, אמרו הללויה, משמור לדוד,
It's Chaim He Lamachaziki Ba V'Tochecha Ve'ushar Elecha
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, we will be gathering after services today up on the roof for lunch. I'm very grateful to a number of folks who contributed to our Shabbat meal fund today. Judith Zimmerman and Susan Hamer marking yahrzeits of beloveds in your family. Jan Shaw honoring Michael's birthday, and Beth Kramer. We wish you a happy birthday. And Scott Fields, just because. Thank you to all of you. I've been thinking about what it means that we feed each other, what it means that people mark time in our own lives by providing nourishment, physical and spiritual nourishment for each other, and what a gift that is. And thank you. Thank you for your contributions and for marking time with us in this way. We're deeply grateful. So we're going to go upstairs and we'll eat for a little while, and then either at 12:45 or at 1 o'clock, we'll move into the Beit Midrash upstairs for this incredible opportunity to hear from our wonderful Dalia Dasake, whom you met earlier today when she and David had an aliyah. The book is called Enduring Hostility, The Making of America's Iran Policy. And I just told Dalia, reading this book, it's one of those moments where you realize that everything you thought you knew was just the tiny tip of the iceberg. And it's a total paradigm shift. And I think it's really critical for us as citizens of a nation that is right now, hopefully at the end of war, in the pause moment in war, to try to understand as much as we can what's actually going on in the story behind the story. And so, Dalia, I'm so grateful to you for being here. We need to learn from you and to hear what you have to share, and it's a great honor for us that among our beloved community members is really one of the country's leading experts on Iran. So thank you for sharing your wisdom with the world and especially with our community today. So we'll be gathering in the Beit Midrash at about 1 o'clock for that, or 12:45. Pay attention to Eitan running around and trying to gather everybody together. I want just a couple of other quick things to put on your radar. One, next week at 4 p.m., we're going to be gathering together in our event space on La Cienega to mark Yom HaZikaron. This is Israel's Day of Remembrance. For those of you who've ever been in Israel on this day, it's really one of the saddest days of the year, because, of course, every person in that region has been touched by loss and by violence. And we will be honoring this day by having a communal viewing of the 21st Israeli-Palestinian Joint Memorial Ceremony. It's called We Are the Day After, From Loss to Hope, by Combatants for Peace and Israeli and Palestinian Bereaved Families Forum. This, for those of you who have seen it and joined for the viewings in years past, is incredibly painful and incredibly hopeful, and an opportunity for us to look at loss head on and to hear the stories of Israelis and Palestinians who've lost loved ones to conflict and violence, and how they are finding hope for a different kind of future in which there will be a just and lasting peace. They're incredibly moving. I think that these are voices that we need to hear, and we realize we don't want to hear them alone on our own computer screens in our homes, but we want to join together in order to share in this moment together. So please come and join us at 4 p.m. on Monday, and it's going to be followed at 6 p.m. with a screening of the movie called The Other, which is a movie about those peace builders. You'll see some familiar faces, many friends of our community in this film, which we're co-hosting with New Ground and Standing Together. So I hope to see many of you there as we prepare to move into a week of both sorrow and joy and hope, moving through from Yom HaZikaron through Yom HaTzmaut this week. We have a number of other wonderful things going on in the community, but I'm going to say two in particular just to have on your radar. One is that on April 27th, a number of board members and members of our Capital Campaign Committee are going to be making phone calls to people in our community to invite you to make your pledge to our campaign. If you haven't already, we are really looking for 100% participation in our community. That's the only way we're going to be able to get through this final chapter of our campaign, where we're asking the community's support. As you heard, some of you were with us at our community town hall last Sunday, and we talked about this. But if the call comes to you, please answer. Our wonderful board members and community members are taking the time so that we can do this, and we want to move through this final phase of the campaign quickly and with great love and great intention. So thank you to everybody who's volunteering your time so generously, and we look forward to closing the loop with many of you in the coming days. Also, on Sunday, May 31st, this is a little bit further in the future, but we have IKAR's annual Party with a Purpose, where we're going to be honoring Liz Naftali Hirsch. And she is a humanitarian ambassador, author, speaker, podcast host, and advocate for the return of the hostages, because as many of you know by now, Liz's own family lived in the border communities in one of the kibbutzim at Kfar Aza, and many members of her family were killed, and her grandniece, Abigail, was abducted as a 3-year-old child. And through Liz's incredible advocacy, she was able to help secure the first ceasefire deal in November that brought home so many of the initial round of hostages. And even when Abigail came home, and thank God is healing and recovering at home, Liz did not stop. And she had continued to advocate for the return of the hostages, for an end to war, and for the beginning of real conversations about what a peaceful and just and shared future could look like in that region. So we're so grateful for her, and we're so lucky that she's part of our board, and we'll be able to honor her together. It's also our big annual fundraiser for the year. So I hope that many of you will be excited to get dressed up and come celebrate a night of art and humanity together that evening. Finally, this morning, I want to share my immense gratitude to our wonderful and beloved Lauren Buckman, who is going to be sharing some words of Torah this morning. And Lauren and Michelle have been beloved members of our community for many years now, and prompted by a very thoughtful exercise assignment that Rabbi Brad Artson shared with the Ziegler students, Lauren Buckman put together some words and ideas that brought us all to tears when we read them. And I asked Lauren if he would be willing to share his Torah with our community this morning. And so I'm so grateful to you, Lauren, not only a co-chair of our Capital Campaign Committee, but also a very dear friend and a wonderful board leader in our community and a teacher to us all. So Lauren, thank you for coming and sharing your inspiration with us today.
You know, there's a Yiddish joke I love, among many Yiddish jokes that I love, in which, you know, you get the scene, Moshe is about to address the congregation, and he takes a deep breath and he looks at them and he says, before I speak, I'd like to say a few words. And I realized this morning, hilariously, that that's about what I'm going to do here. So here are the few words before I speak. As Rabbi Brous just said, this reflection began with a challenge from Rabbi Artson to bring Torah into a conversation with the questions that preoccupy and never seem to let us go. And as mentioned, I'm now completing my 3rd year of rabbinical school, and in many ways, this is the work I feel most drawn to, bringing the wisdom of our tradition into conversation with the things I've been wrestling with for decades. So those who know me won't be surprised, therefore, that Shakespeare makes an appearance, as does my ongoing fascination with the creative process and those unforgettable words from Mishpatim, Na'aseh v'nishma. Now the speaking. It was an offhand remark, a brief digression. I was in my first semester of rabbinical school, sitting in a Jewish philosophy class, when the professor, can't remember his name exactly, something like Feivel Hendel, mentioned a Hasidic midrash that left me stunned. Expanding on a Talmudic tradition, the midrash imagines that the entirety of what Israel heard at Sinai was the first letter, the Aleph, of the first word, Anochi, of the first commandment, Anochi Adonai Elohecha. Receives according to what we can bear, what we can hold, what we have prepared within ourselves. Readiness there, then, is not mere willingness, it is spiritual musculature. It is the shaping of a self capable of receiving. In the words of medieval philosopher and poet Yehuda Halevi, the divine power inspires human power only in such measure as the latter is prepared to receive it. If the readiness is little, little will be obtained, and much will be obtained if it is great. Were we prepared to meet the God of our forefathers with a pure mind, we should find the same salvation our ancestors did in Egypt. Second, readiness as action. When Moses reads the covenant aloud at Sinai, the people respond, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will hear. Those words, buried in Parshat Mishpatim, constitute one of the most counterintuitive and formative sentences in Jewish life. We will do and we will hear. Judaism does not wait for full understanding before commitment. It does not suspend action until certainty arrives. It steps forward first. For most of Shakespeare's play, Hamlet delays, waiting for clarity to appear. Israel, by contrast, acts so that clarity may emerge. In the spirit of the Midrash, action is the syntax through which meaning becomes audible. The Aleph will not sound itself, it requires breath. Breath is movement. Na'aseh is a kind of inhalation. Nishma, the sound that follows. We do, and in the doing, we begin to hear, to understand. God gives us beginnings. Humans have the opportunity to continue. And finally, a third dimension, readiness to listen with a different part of ourselves, readiness for the poetic. If readiness were only psychological or ethical, it would remain within the ordinary grammar of life. But Sinai refuses ordinary grammar. The Midrash imagines revelation reduced to its bare beginnings, a silent aleph. The Torah describes it differently, but no less mysteriously. Not silence alone, but voice without form. Listen to the language. Kol devarim atem shomim, you heard the sound of words. Utmuna inchem ro'im, but you saw no form. Zulati kol, only a voice. V'chol ha'am ro'im et hakolot ve'et halapidim. All the people saw the voices and the flames. In this world and at this moment, the people see voices. In this world and at this moment, fire speaks. Senses upended, synesthesia. This is the poetic grammar of revelation. It does not arrive as direct, recognizable information. It arrives as encounter. Meaning comes to Israel uncontained before it settles into structure. But even so, revelation cannot remain suspended in fire and voice. It enters time, it enters law, it enters human hands. If Sinai starts with a silent aleph, if what was given was a soundless beginning, then a question presses itself upon us: who or what completes the word? The Talmud confronts this question directly. In Bava Metzia, in the great dispute of the Tanur Shel Achnai, in the oven of Achnai, Rabbi Eliezer insists he is right about a matter of law. The sages disagree. He calls upon miracles to prove his case. A tree uproots itself, a stream flows backward, even the walls of the study begin to collapse. The sages remain unmoved. Finally, a bat kol, a heavenly voice, declares that Rabbi Eliezer is correct. And Rabbi Yehoshua rises and responds, Lo b'shamayim hi. It is not in heaven. Torah, once given, is no longer the realm of heaven, only the realm of heaven.
Not because heaven is absent, not because revelation was insufficient, but because revelation was the beginning of creative partnership. My children have defeated me, God says, and smiles. The covenant was never meant to leave us standing only at the mountain. It was meant to draw us forward into responsibility, into interpretation, into collaboration. The silent Aleph, likewise, was never meant to remain suspended. God gave us the opening, hovering, charged, waiting, and then a pause. A pause long enough for human beings to become ready to receive according to their strength, ready to act before certainty, ready to stand before fire and voice without reducing them to everyday form, ready to breathe into the silent letter, ready to let the Aleph, once heard at Sinai, emerge into sound. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach to Lauren, so grateful for your Torah this morning. We'll conclude with Musaf this morning. Be careful, it's not the normal page because of Rosh Chodesh, but we will start with Chatzi Kaddish on page 184, and then we'll turn to page 193.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמר עמה בעלמא דברת חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכם וביומך אנו חיי בכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריבי מרומו אמן יהי שם רבה מבורך לעולם לעולם יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי בקודשיו אלא מכל ברכתה ושירתה ושפחתה ונחמתה גם אילה בעלמא ואימרו אמן ואימרו 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 אמן
Page 193.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Aboteinu v'Avraham v'Yisrael Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Rebekah Elohei Yaakov Elohei Abba Elohei Rachel Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasarim Tovim v'Kol Yakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot u'Mevigo El Ivnei B'neihem L'man Shmo B'Yadva Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ata Gibor Le'olam Lamechem Itimat Arav Le'Yoshia Moridat Al Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayim Itim B'Rachamim Rabim Somech Noplim V'Cholim Umatir Asurim Kol Yem U'Natol Ishnei Afar Michamelcha Bal Gvurot Hu Midamalach Melech Meimit Miach Yeshua V'Nemanata Echet Mitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei Ametim נריצך ונקדישך כסוסי על שרפי קודש המקדישים שמך בקודש ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה על זה ואמר
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ כבודו
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו כבודו מלא עולם נשאל את נפשו על אם זה לזה איי מקום כבודו לעומתם ברוך יאמרו
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו מי כמוהו יפה ברחמים ויכול עליהם יחדים שמו ערב בבוקר בכל יום תמיד פעמיים ביבא שמה אומרים
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני
מה
אחד
ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד אלוהינו אבינו מלכנו מושיענו והוא ישביענו ברחמיו שנית לעיני כל חי להיות לכם לאלוהים
אני אדוני
אלוהיכם ובדבקות שכבר כתוב לאמור
ימלוך אדוני לעם אדוני ציון לדור ודור הללויה
ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נזרים קדושתך נקדיש לשבחך אלוהינו מפי למוש לעולם ועד כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני כהן הקדוש
Kaddish Shalom, page 203.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה יולמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי
כל יום
נכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ליומי יומיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח יתבער ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתקדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה ברכו להילה מכל ברכת ושירת תשבחת ונחמת לא מירה ויעלמה קבל צלות ומרצון דכל ישראל אדם אבדון דבשמיא ואמרו אמן אמן יש לומר רבה משמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן אמן עושה שלום במרומה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל שבח לאדון הכל לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כגוי הרצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא אין עוד ומעט ימלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד,
Kaddish Hatam, Mourner's Kaddish, page 207.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בעלמה יברא כרעותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
So just one final word before we go outside for our blessings and then upstairs. I want to welcome everybody who's here for the first time today. We welcome you. We would love to know you, or if you've been around for a couple months but you don't feel known, come say hello at lunch. We would love to see you. Rabbi Solomon Grunwald is here, and we welcome you back to IKAR. And it was such a joy to be in community with you and Melanie and your family years ago, and it's wonderful to have you home. And also Ruthie Ellenson, my dear beloved friend, hugging Ethan Goldstein as we speak. Ruthie, welcome back. It's just, it always is a joy to have you close by. So we are going to go right outside in a moment. We'll make blessings downstairs, and then we'll make our way up to the third floor. And the conversation with Dahlia will begin close to 1 o'clock, so please keep eyes out. We invite everyone to please rise in whatever way you're able. Thank you to our interpreters today. We're very grateful. They're here. They're here once a month on Shabbat morning, and we thank you for helping make our services more accessible to all. And we will close with Ein Keloheinu on the left-hand side of page 204.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadolenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, no como esto Dios, no como esto Dios. No como este héroe, no como este Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Chamalkeinu, mi Chemoshienu. ¿Quién como nuestro Dios? ¿Quién como nuestro Señor? ¿Quién como nuestro héroe? ¿Quién como nuestro Salvador?
Welcome, Taylor.